Hi everyone, John Cottrell here of MBODY Yoga. This is Soft Flow Yoga. It's a 60-minute gentle yoga practice. So our practice today is called light core work. So we're going to be working kind of this section of the body, working our core. Just some light, very simple, hopefully exercises, yoga postures that will help strengthen your core. Very important part of our bodies because it gives us stability, strength, and allows us to even do something as simple as sit up, just like this. So we'll be doing some exercises for our core. Let's start in a seated posture, and you may want to have something soft to sit on. Here I've got my blanket. You may have a folded towel, even a pillow that you can sit on. Something like this, like a bolster or a big cushion that I tend to have right here on the go, ready for us. And then maybe a couple of yoga blocks. We'll actually be using these in our practice today. So some yoga blocks or some hardbound books also can be of assistance for you in our practice. So again, we're just coming to a comfortable seated posture, sitting up nice and tall here. And even automatically, we are engaging our core just because we are sitting up. It allows us to sit up, but we'll certainly bring some more awareness and attention to this space. You can start with your eyes opened if you like, just gazing forward or downward at the ground. You can even close your eyes. And in either case, just take a slow, deep breath. You're going to inhale fully through your nose, and you can exhale completely through your nose or out through your mouth. Do that again. A nice full in-breath and complete exhale. And just settle into your body, eyes opened or eyes closed. And just continue with slow, steady breaths. Taking this opportunity to fully arrive, to be here in the moment. Really preparing ourselves for our practice today. You want to feel your breath. Notice how your body is responding to your breath. For example, you might feel the rise and fall of your chest or belly as you inhale and exhale. And even pay attention to the sound of your breath. And if you can't hear your breath, just breathe a little louder, turning up the volume. Continuing with your slow, steady breaths. This is also a wonderful opportunity to set a personal intention for your practice. Since we're going to be working with a light core practice, maybe it's something related to your own strength, your own stability, foundation, your center. Now, as you inhale, just feel your breath rising upward to fill up your lungs. We're just adding a little bit more sensation, more awareness to our breathing effort. Again, the breath in, filling up your lungs, and as you exhale, here's our first connection to our core. As you release the breath, as you're able, draw your navel inward towards your spine. Not too strongly, not too forcefully, just an awareness of just pulling in. That's enough. Again, an inhale, feel the lengthening of your spine, breath rising to fill your lungs. Notice that expansion across the chest. Exhaling, drawing belly in, that light engagement of your core system. In our practice today, we'll focus on some particular parts of our core system and how we can make them stronger. Let's take 3 more breaths here. Prepare your body to move. And when we are ready, it will be a very simple flow of breath and the movement of the body. When you're ready, inhale and extend your arms out across the room. Reach, good extension, all the way up towards the ceiling. Stretch like you're going to touch the ceiling. Then as you exhale, don't forget to continue to draw your belly in lightly as your arms float back down by your side. Let's do that again. So an inhale with effort, reach across the room like we'll touch the walls, and then eventually all the way up to touch the ceiling. Good lengthening through the arms and the sides of the body. Exhale, reach out, touch the walls on either side of you, draw the belly in. Now just continue moving and breathing at your own pace. Very nice. Aware of the slow motion of the body, the movement, and the sound of your breath. How your body is responding to this movement and breath. Notice how your shoulders are active here. The lengthening through the sides of your body as you reach up towards the ceiling. Finish the breath that you're on and let's take 2 more breaths. When you're complete, just take your time, bring your arms back down by your side. Let your arms relax, your shoulders, your hands. Take a breath. While still seated nice and tall, just bring your hands behind you. Just prop yourself up onto your fingertips. With your arms behind you, your shoulders may naturally draw back. That's good in this case. We're going to be taking a mild back bend in the seated posture. So with the shoulders back, you might also, as you're able, just pull the shoulders back, even squeeze them in towards your center, towards your spine. You might feel your upper back muscles engage as you do this. So this is another indicator of moving towards your center body. And of course we are focusing on that because we're going to be focusing on our core, which is actually your whole torso, with some emphasis and awareness of your abdominal system. So we're also drawing in towards center here by drawing belly in. Go ahead and tip your chin up a little bit. Now, as we inhale, press into the ground with the fingertips. Inhale deeply with some good sound. Fill up your lungs. Then exhale, draw your belly in. Feel that connection and squeeze your shoulder blades together behind you. Both of these actions really support your core or your torso, the trunk of your body. That's really our core system. It's not just our abs. Again, an inhale. Feel the breath rising. Fill up your lungs. Notice that stretch quality across the chest. Exhale, draw belly in. There's our low belly connection. And then squeeze shoulder blades together behind you. That's our upper back connection. One more breath in and out. Now, just relax. You can lower your chin so you're looking directly forward. And just walk your hands towards yourself. You can rest your arms in your lap. Be sure you're sitting up nice and tall. And just pause, taking a breath as the body settles. Now we're going to take a forward fold. Since we did a back bend, we'll do a counter pose and fold forward. But first, let's uncross the legs if they were crossed. We're going to change this to cobbler's pose or bound angle pose. And just bringing the soles of the feet together, which is another nice way of grounding, just by bringing the feet together. And bring some blocks in, or your books, or even some small pillows will do, and just tuck them underneath the legs so they have something to rest on. Now just go ahead and hold on to your ankles or shins. We're going to return to that nice long spine, sitting up as tall as you can. Inhale, grow even taller. Feel like there's an energy moving through the crown of your head. Exhale, draw belly in for support, and start to hinge forward, just a little bit. I'm just going to adjust my props here. Do that again at this new angle. Inhale to continue that lengthening of the spine. Exhale, a gentle drawing the belly in, and then we fold. Let's just hold here. Now you're welcome to round your back, lower your chin if this feels good. Well, I talk a little bit more about your core, because I always give these directions about drawing the belly in before we move. That's that indicator and reminder to provide support and strength in your body so you feel braced and ready to move. So we inhale, and I usually see that as the preparation to move or a lengthening of the spine. Exhaling, drawing belly in, finding that core stability, strength, all that we need now to move. And you might hinge forward a tiny bit more. So that might be one function of our core system. Let's take 3 more breaths here. And when you're ready, let's rise back up. Now, if your back is rounded, just lift your chin so your neck is in the same alignment as the spine. That'll start that realignment and lengthening of the spine. And then just hinge your way back up, nice and tall right here. Once again, we'll just hold in stillness for a breath or two. Let's go ahead and move our props to the side. We're just going to carefully maneuver ourselves onto our hands and knees. This is another pose that we do quite often in soft flow, but let's give it to that extra awareness and intentional perspective for core work. So you're going to come to your hands and knees here. Just use your padding to protect your wrists and knees. And we're just in this tabletop posture. Now, as you inhale, we create cow pose. What we do is we tip the pelvis back, let the belly drop, and you create this natural back bend. And then we just send the chin up, heart forward. We're even just looking forward. So this is cow. So it has this back bend feeling, kind of this scooped, hollowed out sensation in the back. Now we're going to round it out. So while in cow, just breathe in. Then exhale, starting with your tail, your pelvis, tuck it underneath. And with that, feel your belly button pull up towards spine. Your back will naturally round here, and your chin will tuck in towards your chest. Let's hold here for several breaths. This is cat. Continue to keep pulling the belly button up towards spine, so we're still engaging the core system in this position. Now let's repeat this. Inhale and move. Tip the pelvis back, which is actually an anterior tilt of the pelvis. Let the belly kind of relax and drop. We're kind of disengaging the abdominal system. There's our back bend, heart opens. Exhale, the posterior tilt of the pelvis, just tucking the tailbone under. Feel the belly button pull up towards spine, so we're re-engaging the core, rounding the back, chin to chest. Now I'm really going slowly and breaking this down so you can understand what's happening in your body. And just continue now at your own pace. Just mainly focusing on the movement of the pelvis, the engagement of your core, a nice undulation through the spine. Finish the breath that you're on and take 2 more breaths. Remember this movement because we're going to be repeating it in a lying down posture, lying down on our backs. So see if you can remember this flow of the body. All right, now return to a tabletop position. Just hold in stillness for a moment. Now that we spent some time, a long period of time, on our hands, and this is a forced flex position, so they can actually get tired and fatigued. So let's do this. Let's tuck the toes under, and let's sit back into what I call half hero, just moving back enough so you can take your hands off the ground, and then maybe some circles here. Just circle the wrist, wiggle your fingers, and even just a counter movement of the wrist and hand, something like that. You can press the hands together, like so, or a gentle pulse on the ground or your blanket, very gently, not too strongly. And that should loosen things up. But I think this is a nice way right here. Just circle the fingers and wrists just like that. We are going to return to our hands and knees, but first let's move our blanket out of the way. Come back to hands and knees here. Now here's that forced flex again with the wrist right underneath the shoulders. But let's change this angle. Instead of straight up and down, let's step the hands forward. That should take some of the pressure off the wrist. Not all of it, but some of it. Spread out your fingers pretty wide. Grip your mat with your fingertips here. And then push into the ground to feel the flattened palms, stretching open the hands, and strong straight arms. Tuck your toes. Let's return to our cat-cow. So inhale, cow. That's the back bend. Exhale, cat. Pull belly button up towards spine and hold this. Hold that position. Keep breathing though. Now with this sensation, lifting your knees off the ground, send your hips up into the air and notice and feel how the back
lengthens. Your head may lower a little bit. Your ears might be aligned next to your arms. Keep your knees very bent while the hips continue to lift up into the air, hands pressing firmly into the ground, just creating a little bit more length through the body. Take one breath in, feeling your body get longer. Exhale, continue to pull belly button towards spine. That's an engaged feeling. Now, let's start stepping forward. Take a few steps forward until your feet are in the center of your mat, but mainly your feet are flat on the ground, the whole foot from heel to toe. Now slide your hands towards your toes, and then inhale, slide your hands up to your shins or knees right here until we've risen just halfway up. This is half forward fold. Let's just hold here for a moment. Now here's another place where some things just kind of happen automatically. One, your hamstrings engage automatically here, and even your core automatically engage. You could engage it more, but it's already active because we're holding ourselves in place. Let's stand up all the way, shifting your weight back into your heels until your toes are light. Bend your knees and lower your hips like you're sitting down into a low chair. Lifting your head, take your arms out to the side for a little balance. Drive your heels into the floor to help you straighten your legs. Let's continue drawing a straight line through the body and get nice and tall here. Reach up into the air. Then exhale, bring your arms back down to your side. Very nice. Now go back to massaging those wrists after being in downward facing dog. Wiggle the fingers there, circle the wrists, and even check in with your shoulders. Good. Now, let's just do one extended mountain pose posture. So with me, inhale and extend your arms up into the air. Hold on the exhale. I'm going to turn sideways for this for a moment. And just continue reaching straight up. Nice and tall. Some effort of reaching towards the ceiling. You'll notice sensation in the shoulders. And we're going to be coming back to this a little bit later in the practice, but I just want to give you a little preview of some core work we're going to be doing with our arms up into the air. Now let's relax our arms and bring them back down. Shake them out. Good. All right. Let's go through our half salute once again. We're just going to fold forward and come back up. Here we go. Inhale, re-extend the arms up into the air. Exhale, spread your wings, bend your knees, and sit back and down into your imaginary chair. Go slowly. Belly will come down toward your thighs. Let your hands drop and even let your head and neck relax. Maybe you'll touch your toes. Inhale, slide your hands up to your shins or knees and extend your spine. We'll hold here on the exhale. Hold for a moment, long torso, active hamstrings and core automatically happening there. Shifting weight into the heels, bend your knees, sit down, arms spread out, rise all the way up. Again, nice and tall, reach towards the sky. Exhale, arms return to your side. That's it, good. Another circle of the shoulders. Let's move into our variation of Warrior One. We'll do the first side and then I'm going to introduce that standing core work with the arms in the air. So starting in mountain pose, we'll start with soft knees because we don't want to lock our knees out. Start shifting your weight into your right foot. Press firmly into the floor. Strong connection there. Inhale, feel even taller than you are. Breath rising to fill your lungs. Exhale, draw belly in. There's that same instruction I always give. Shift forward a little bit, gripping your mat with your right set of toes. Lift the left heel. Toes are still on the ground. A little force flex right there. And just start stepping the foot back and leg back until it just naturally stops. We're going to pivot or turn the leg, placing the heel onto the floor right there, and then soften both knees. There's a little bit of distance between the feet, not much. A little lunge, soft knees here, but you're really centered here. Place your hands on your hips and feel like you're trying to push your pelvis down while you get nice and tall up top and then turn to face forward. So kind of squaring out the hips across the room while your heart faces forward. Now inhale and extend your arms straight up into the air. Then exhale, bend the elbows and just come down to about 90 degrees so there isn't so much tension on the shoulders and elbows. So this is our first variation of Warrior One. Again, making sure that there's a softness in the knees, you feel pretty centered and balanced right here. Coming out of the posture, let's extend the arms up with an inhale. Exhale, bring the arms down. Bring your hands to your hips. shifting the weight into the front foot. So we're changing that balance, shifting the weight forward, picking up that back heel, stepping forward, feet together. Now, we're going to inhale and take the arms up into the air. Hold the posture on you as you exhale. Now, I'm going to use my own body as a reference. When I lift my arms, I feel an arch in my back. So I get a little anterior tilt. I'm going to exaggerate it a little bit. So this is kind of what's happening with my body, but I'm exaggerating it, okay? And so, and I feel kind of disengaged in the front, my belly. So if you need to, we're going to tuck the pelvis under. Like there's a knob right here, and I'm turning the knob back, okay? So I can drop the tailbone. I call it a scoop. It's an posterior tilt. And when I do that, it's actually activating my low abs. So from here with my arched back, anterior tilt, when I exhale, I'm tucking the tailbone under, posterior tilt, and I can even feel the engagement in my core. Now my arms are getting a little tired, so I'm going to keep this engagement and just bring the arms down to my side. So I feel very active here. Hopefully you're doing the same thing. Now you may not have needed to tilt as much as I needed to, but just enough where you can still feel that belly button pull in towards spine and engage. All right, just go ahead and relax. All right, we're going to do the other side. So come back to the top of your mat. So we're going to do our left side lunge, our Warrior One variation, and do that same extended arm core engagement. Soft knees, shifting weight into the left foot, root into the floor. Feel that leg get strong. Get nice and tall up top with the breath in. Fill up your lungs. Exhale, draw belly in. Now you can even try to even tilt the pelvis because that's part of the core work to help activate the core. Little lean forward, gripping the mat with your left set of toes. I'm picking up the right heel, tapping the foot back until it just naturally stops right about there. It's not very far. Pivot and turn until the whole foot behind me is on the floor, so the foot is turned out, centered, soft knees. Hands on hips, push pelvis down, get nice and tall here, and then turn to face forward. We're just making space in this belt line so you can turn to face mostly forward. Go ahead and inhale now to extend your arms up into the air. Exhale, bend the elbows. Let's just hold here. Now just kind of check in just kind of with this midsection around the pelvis. Now for me, yes, I am standing, feet in a somewhat of a lunge. Core is automatically engaging just because it's helping me stand, but I'm not really forcing that engagement. Hopefully that makes sense. Just like you can stand, the core is working, but we're not just turning it on to that extra effort there. Here we go. Let's go ahead and inhale, take the arms up. Exhale, bring arms down, hands to hips. Lean forward, put some pressure and weight into this front foot, picking up that back heel, stepping together. Here we go. We're going to inhale, extend the arms all the way up. Hold here on the exhale, reaching up. Now we're going to really activate the core. I don't know if you can see. Can you see how my back, I have a little sway in my back? So with arms extended, I'm inhaling, getting longer. Exhale, see if I can change that and tuck it under. See how my body kind of changed there? Tucking it under. I can feel my glutes engaged. I don't feel that tension in my low back, but I do feel the activation of my low abs. Keeping that strong core, bringing arms back down to the side. Still very active here. So core work, or at least the abdominal engagement, is not just the belly pulling in. It might also be some pelvic rocking. It's a posterior tilt usually. Like there's a knob on the hip bone and you're kind of turning it backward, okay? So you can tuck underneath. Now go ahead and relax. Soften. Very nice. Nice to feel that difference between the very engaged body to a relaxed, softened body. All right, let's flow. Here we go. Inhale, extend both arms up into the air. Exhale, spread your wings, bend your knees, and sit back and down. Move slowly. Legs are active here. And then your belly will come down towards your thighs. Let the hands and head drop. Let everything relax here. This should feel very nice. Inhale, slide the hands up to the shins or knees, extending your spine. Flat back, but this exhale, fold all the way down. Take your time, bend the knees a whole lot more. Getting low enough until your hands can reach your mat. And start stepping the feet back. Take your time until you reach the back end of your mat here. And we'll draw a straight line. We'll be in plank pose for a moment. From here, breathe in. Exhale, bend your knees like you're about to kneel all the way down, but instead send your hips up into the air, just moving into downward facing dog. Adjusting the feet, you might need to tiptoe forward a little bit, even take the feet out a little wider. I'm doing the same with my hands. Let the head relax, and let's do our second version of Warrior One. Let's start by picking up the right foot and extend the leg behind you. Doesn't have to lift high, just see if you can get it nice and strong and straight. Inhale again. Exhale, bend your right knee. Bring that right knee in underneath you towards your chest or chin as you shift your whole upper body forward. Your shoulders will align over the wrists. And just let the right foot come down, the toes, heel lifted. Can you see this? And then set the left knee onto the floor. And like that half hero, just shift the weight back until you have less weight in the hands. Use your right hand to go pick up the right foot and place it up a little higher on your mat. Replace the right hand. Let's relift the left knee. Here, pivot or turn that back leg, placing the heel onto the floor. If your body weight's still way forward like this, step the hands back. Pull the hips back until there's more weight and pressure in that back foot. We're just trying to find centering and alignment for the body. I'm rising up to fingertips, lifting my torso a little bit to help it lengthen it so it's straight as can be. Next, place one hand and then two hands on your thigh, kind of climbing up the body. Press into the thigh to help hinge your way up nice and tall, facing forward. Then to finish, we'll inhale, extend the arms up into the air, and then exhale. So now we have a wider stance, more distance between the feet. Good lunge, nice knee bend in front. Back leg is relatively straight. There might be even a slight bend in that knee, but really bending up front. Warrior One, second version. Let's keep it moving. Breathe in. Exhale, turn your torso towards the left side of the room. Arms come down to parallel, being sure your right knee still is pointing forward. You don't want it to turn that direction. It's still pointing forward there. So we have our lunge. Here's our Warrior Two. Adjust the feet. I like to turn this left foot out. Just feels more natural in that leg. Let's shift forward a little bit here. Rotate the arms. You're going to bend this right arm, and if you can, lower it to your thigh. If that feels too low, place your hand here. Arm or hand. I'm going to place my hand here. We are at an angle. We're going to extend this left arm overhead. Reach. Now, it's a nice lunge. We have this arm overhead, but we're also lengthening through the side of the body here. But also think about our core. We're lengthening through the core, our torso, our trunk of the body, even lengthening and stretching through part of the abdominal system. We're going to come back up, return to your Warrior Two position. Let's drop the back arm, swing it around like a hand on a clock, reaching forward here, flip the palms up, and then fold. Coming down carefully, place the hands on the mat. Once they're there, let's lift that left heel. You'll be in a runner's lunge, everything nicely aligned. Strong press into the floor with the hands so you can slide or pull the right foot back. You'll be in plank pose. Bend the knees and then send hips into the air. We're just returning to downward facing dog. Adjust your feet, adjust your hands. Arrive in the pose. Make sure the head and neck feel relaxed here. Now inhale to pick up your left foot and extend the left leg back. Again, I'm not concerned about the height of the leg. Just see if you can extend it as straight as you can. Inhale again. Exhale, bend the left knee. Bring the knee underneath you towards your chest or chin, shifting the whole upper body forward until your shoulders are once again aligned over the wrists. Let's set the left set of toes down. Okay, the heel is lifted. Sending the right knee to the floor, pull the weight back, less weight in the hands. Let's use left hand now to go get the left foot. I'm just picking it up and placing it up a little higher on the mat. You can go further up. That'll just make more distance between the feet, or maybe not up this far, whatever you need. Relift that right knee, pivot right heel to the floor. Weight is forward perhaps, so step the hands back with the intentional pulling of the hips back, putting more weight in that back foot. Rise to fingertips, extending the torso so it's straight as can be. It might even be resting on this thigh. We're going to climb up the body, hands up onto the thigh, not on the knee. Make sure you're on the muscle of the leg, not on the joint here. That way you have a little bit more stability. Rising all the way up, nice and tall, facing forward. I can already feel this working in my hips. Inhale, extend the arms all the way up. Exhale, hold. Nice lunge. Good extension of the arms. Continuing, breathe in. Exhale, now turn your torso towards the right side of the room as your arms come down to parallel. Reaching across the room, left knee, just check in, even look at it. Pointing forward, adjust the back foot as you need to. There's our warrior two. Let's take our side angle, reach forward a little bit, rotate the arms. Either your left arm or left hand is on the thigh. Either one is correct because we've already angled the upper body. Keep extending this right hand into the air, but now overhead, this arm, your right arm, just comes a little closer towards your right ear, and then reach. And just feel the lengthening stretch quality down through the right side of the body with all those great intentions. Lengthening, extending, releasing. All right, let's come back up to our warrior two, right here. We're going to drop the right arm, hand of the clock, coming forward, flip the palms up and fold. Plant the hands. Rise up onto tiptoes behind you. Pause for a moment. Here's our runner's lunge. Strong press into the ground with the hands. Slide the left foot back, plank. Hold for a moment. Now this too is good strength work. Actually, it's stay in plank, but bring your knees to the floor. Just taking some of the pressure away. Okay, I'm still pressing strongly, however, into the floor with the hands. I'm inhaling just to find some extension through the torso. Exhale, actively pull belly button up towards spine. And just as we did standing with the arms overhead, see if you can try that posterior tilt, rock the pelvis, and see if you can activate your core system a little bit more. One more breath, because this might be a little bit too much pressure on the hands. And then relax. Let's sit back. Step the hands back so you're sitting in hero for a second. You can even massage the wrists if you need to, okay? And then we're going to take a seat. So whenever you're ready, you're just going to take a seat. Make sure you're sitting in the center of your mat, and then grab your blocks or books or whatever props you might have. A lot of our work next is going to be on the floor. Let's start with our bridge pose, since that's what we typically do. So here's our blocks or books next to us, ready to go. Lying down, knees bent. Feel free to give yourself a hug. Add some movement here. This might feel quite nice, actually. All that standing. Nice enjoyment for the low back and hips. Circle the feet here because they also did some work stabilizing you, holding you up. Now we'll go ahead and set the feet onto the floor. We'll take a breath in. Make sure you've got your blocks in one hand. Exhale, empty the belly of that air, and then lift the hips up into the air. Slide your books or blocks underneath you. Take a seat and just hold here. Just going to relax here for a few breaths. Now again, we typically do this posture. It's a nice variation of a bridge pose. It's supported since we're sitting, so there's less activation, but it does provide some nice benefit to the whole front side of the body. We're going to be doing this again, essentially, but we're going to really break down how we even get into this pose. Because it's all core activation, and it's still that movement of the pelvis that helps us to engage. And I'll talk a little bit more about our abdominal system and the muscles that we're working. Let's take 2 more breaths. When you're ready, just press your feet into the floor so you can lift your hips high enough to slide the blocks out from underneath you. And then carefully make your way back down to the ground.
All right. Now, starting here, lying on your back, knees bent, feet flat on the floor. This is really our prep when we move into that bridge pose that we just did. But now let's kind of break it down as far as how are we really activating our core system to actually lift our hips. Here we go. Let's lie flat as we are. We're going to inhale and arch your back, and creating a space underneath your low back. Hold here, keep breathing. This should feel familiar. Remember when we did our cat and cow pose, and I told you to remember that sensation, cow pose, where we create a little dip in the back, creating that back bend. That's exactly what you're doing here. There's some space at your low back, and you can, if you can see me, my hand is sliding underneath my body, and it's in that space between my back and the floor. My bottom is still on the floor. That's an inhale to get into this position. It's a pelvic tilt. It feels like it's tipping forward in this case, okay? And then in the exhale, feel like you're tipping the pelvis back, going that way, while the low back presses into the floor. Now this is a posterior tilt of the pelvis. Belly button feels like it's dropping or pulling down towards the spine. Hold here for a couple breaths. I'm going to talk about this in a second because this is where we're engaging our abdominal muscles. Let's inhale, do the anterior tilt. Pelvis is kind of rolling, those knobs are rolling forward. And we're creating the low back, or that low bridge where the low back lifts up off the ground. Inhale again. Exhale, posterior tilt. Feel the low back press into the floor. And there we are. Let's hold here. Keep breathing so we can really understand what's happening here. So your low back hopefully is flat on the ground. We have a posterior tilt. I'm doing this circle backward, okay? And that's what's happening with the pelvis. We're breathing. As we inhale, the breath is just rising to fill the lungs. Exhaling to emphasize the posterior tilt. Low back is pressing more into the floor. Belly button is pulling down deeper towards your center. And here we go. It's the abdominal system that's activated. It's the transverse abdominis muscles. Transverse abdominis muscles engaging. It's across the body. It's like a belt, like you're wearing a belt around your body. That's what the transverse abdominis muscles are shaped like, okay, like a band around you and supportive, very strongly supporting you. So it's good to activate these muscles. Let's do this again. You're going to inhale, arch the back, low back lifts with the anterior tilt. Exhale, posterior tilt, scooping the pelvis, low back presses into the floor, engaging those muscles. Tight if you can. One more time. Inhale, arch. Exhale, I'll say scoop. And it's that sensation, that little scoop sensation with that core engagement that allows us to then push feet into the floor, lift the hips like you're peeling away from the floor, lifting the hips, and that's when we slide our blocks underneath us. We're not going to, but just lift your hips, but then come right back down in slow motion. Very nice. And once we're down, just relax. So that's a wonderful exercise I would encourage you to do on your own. Just lie down, do these pelvic rocking sensations. It will strengthen your core, especially that low system, the transverse abdominis muscles, which I would like to call the abdominal foundation, okay? Because that's what's going to really build strength for you. Let's go ahead and draw the knees into chest, just for a little massage here. We are going to stay on the floor for a moment, lying down. Now remember we did a standing position with the arms in the air into that same pelvic tilt. We're going to see if we can do it here, lying down. Let's place the feet back down, extend the legs out front. If you have room behind you, reach behind you. And just reach and stretch in these opposite directions. Now, for me, it resembles when I stand. When I'm stretching like this, I feel that my low back is not touching the floor. And maybe yours isn't either. So we're going to change that, or activate our center and activate our core. So we're going to inhale, reach and stretch. Exhale, that same posterior tilt of the pelvis. All I'm doing is trying to press my low back into the ground, or at least get it closer to the ground. I feel lots of things happening here. I feel my glutes engaged, my feet are flexed, my thighs are engaged. But yes, I do feel that abdominal system. It's not only transverse abdominis,
that's activated. Now we're getting rectus abdominis, and that's just kind of more of the center section here, more of an outer layer of muscles that are activating here. Transverse are low and deep. Rectus are a little bit more superficial. Okay, now go ahead and relax. Let's do it one more time. We're going to inhale, stretch, feel the arched back maybe. Exhale, posterior tilt, press low back towards the floor, activating those nice strong muscles. See if you can hold the position. Don't hold the breath. Keep breathing. Just flexing those muscles even more strongly. One more time. Now relax. You can bring your arms down by your side. So another nice exercise you can do, which not only activates those low abs, but get that superficial or outer layer of muscles, the rectus abdominis muscles activated. All right, we're going to come to seated, rising up to seated. So go ahead and draw your knees into chest. You can roll to one side, press yourself up, and come to seated here. Now we're doing boat pose. We have done this before in class. Feel free to sit on something soft if you need to. And the way that we like to do boat here is to bend the knees, flex the feet so your heels are on the floor. Now the knees can be very bent, like that, or not so much. Right about there is fine. And holding onto the backs of the legs. I just call these your handlebars. So hold on to your handlebars. Sit up as tall as you can. Even imagine you have a wall up against your body, your back, nice and tall there. And we're going to start turning on those ab muscles. They already are working, but we're going to activate them even more. So inhale, get tall, go straight up. Exhale, maybe breathe out through the mouth. That also helps engage the belly. Just pull in and then start to lean back just a little bit right there. Continue to hold on because that's going to help us keep that extension of the torso, but just now at this new angle. Inhale, here we go. Lift up. Exhale, pull belly in, activate, support so you can lean back a tiny bit more. This is our boat pose today. Keep the legs out front, good bend in the knees. We're keeping this kind of bend so that we don't get too much activation in the thighs and hip flexors. If we bent the knees more and did this, you're going to feel all these muscle groupings start to fire up and your muscles stop engaging. So I like to extend the legs out a little bit, still with the bend in the knees to hold on, lengthen spine, angled upper body, fill up the lungs, exhale, blow it out the mouth, engage. Here's another action. You're still trying to do a posterior tilt or scoop through the pelvis, but because we're sitting on the pelvis, it's not going to move. But hopefully you're still feeling that activation across the body. That's that belt-like movement or action of the transverse abdominis muscles, and then kind of through the midsection here, your abs. Right there, activating to hold you in place. Inhale again. Exhale, try to activate that posterior tilt. Feel the abs engage. And then we're just going to relax. You can even cross the legs here. Just bring them in. Sit up nice and tall just to relax a little bit. You might even fold. Why don't we just fold forward? You can come to cobbler's pose or just cross the legs like I'm doing and just bring the hands out front just to bring some ease to the back body. So boat pose, which we are going to do again, is a very typical core strengthening position we can do in yoga. We can certainly make it more challenging, but since this is soft flow, I wanted to make it as approachable and simple enough so that you can certainly experience it and gain the benefits. All right, let's do it again. We're rising back up. Let's re-extend the legs. Again, knees bent, but you don't have to have them too bent. Just out here is fine. Heels on the floor, flexed feet, because it'll just keep the legs active in place. Holding onto your handlebars, sit up nice and tall. Breathe in, sending yourself up towards the sky. Exhale, breathe out through the mouth. Here's the belly engaging. Now we're going to engage it more. Even as you start to lean back, it's going to automatically fire up. But we're going to help it out. Inhale, more length. Exhale, pull in, and also feel that posterior tilt, trying to scoop under. Hopefully you feel something kind of tighten up down low and deep within you as we hold here. Feel free to maybe lift the hands, pull them away from your handlebars, knowing that you've created this core stability so you can hold the posture. Now, if you get tired, you can always come out of the pose. Alrighty? But doing it this way, I think, can allow you to be in the posture a little longer, which allows for your core body to get even stronger. All right, one more breath in. Exhale, scoop under, nice engagement here. And now we can relax. Ah, wow. Okay, let's just cross the legs again. I'm going to fold forward because that just felt good. And just take some deep breaths. I'm going to face you. I think I'm going to sit on my cushion here. Bring that in. So we've been working with two important core placements. And like I said, that's the transverse abdominis muscles, low and deep like a belt, okay, giving you that abdominal support. Up here, kind of across the belly and rib cage here, the rectus abdominis muscles. But remember we did those side bends? We got a nice stretch through the sides. We were stretching actually another section of abdominals, and that's the obliques. Now they come down like in a V. They kind of come from the back a little bit and come around and down like a V, like you're wearing a vest, let's say. Maybe that's a way that you can remember that, like you're wearing a vest. V, that V shape. And what those muscles help you to do, well, they help you to stretch, okay, and they help you to twist. Alrighty, so let's just do some twisting postures, really just to both stretch and strengthen those muscles. We want to give our spine and body and torso, the core, your trunk, some support. So I'm going to take my left hand, actually I'm going to try to mirror you. So take your right hand, place it behind you. And just use your hand or fingertips to push into the floor so you feel like you're sitting up nice and tall. So right hand behind you. We'll take the left arm across the body. Maybe just rest it here on the knee or thigh. Just hold it there. Now we're going to inhale, get as tall as you can. Exhale, engage belly, just pull it in. And then a light twist towards the right side of the room. Just a little bit, not much. You're going to feel and sense that you are in a twist. You might even feel this across the waistline, across the rib cages here. But don't force this. You don't have to turn too far for this to work for you, even mildly, and just hold the position. You can even soften it up, which I'm doing now. Now, it may not be as engaging as some of the other core things that we've done. This is more of a light stretch, but because of us holding the posture as we are, it's allowing for release, so there's a little bit more mobility and flexibility in these muscles. As we're sending nice fresh blood and oxygen to this area, to these areas. And in a way they are strengthening because we're holding ourselves here, but not engaging too strongly. What you might be engaging is more center here to help you stay lifted. All right. Let's go ahead and inhale, get tall as can be. Exhale with the same lift of the whole body, unwind to face forward. Let's go ahead and bring both arms in front, hands resting on your knees or shins here or thighs, just so everything realigns. We're going to do the other side in a moment. All right, now taking your left hand and place it behind you. Use it as a prop to help you stay nice and tall. Take the right hand, bring it across the body, and just rest it on your thigh over here. Inhale, tall as can be. Inhale, fill your lungs. Exhale, draw belly in to support the body now in motion. And just a simple turn. Even feel like you're trying to turn from your low belly, like your belly button is trying to turn that direction, not just your head. That's not your core. Your head is not your core. Okay? And so we want to feel the trunk turn, but really guiding it from this low section right there. And again, you don't have to force this. I'm even going to soften mine a little bit. So when we do soft flow, I often say work at 60 to 70%. So here, you might just feel like you're working at 55%. Holding here. And again, just like we did that mild boat pose, that modified boat pose, it allowed us to hold that posture a little longer. And because we're taking this light rotation without forcing it, hopefully you don't feel strained or overwhelmed or stressed. And that allows you perhaps to hold the posture a little bit longer. Strengthening, stretching. So here's another exercise I would encourage you to do on your own. All right, we're going to move, breathing in first, feel tall. Exhale, just bring that belly in, nice core engagement so you feel supported as we come out of the pose. Facing forward here and relax. Excellent. Very nicely done. All right, I have one more thing that we're going to do. We're going to go back to lying down. So I'm going to come off my cushion. We'll set that off to the side. Sit in the center of your mat and just go ahead and roll down onto your back. Go ahead and hug the knees into chest. This is also quite nice too because it kind of relaxes your abs a little bit. They don't have to feel so engaged. We're going to try a little exercise here. Let's go ahead and set the feet onto the floor. Keep the knees bent. And just kind of settle in, feel comfortable on your mat here. We're going to draw the right knee into chest. And then extend the leg into the air. So a light flex of the foot so the heel feels like it's reaching for the ceiling. Don't worry if this leg is not straight. It doesn't have to be absolutely straight at all. And for now, we're going to keep this left knee bent. Now, if you can, release that leg that's in the air and bring your arms out to the side, just reaching across the room, because this might provide support. Because what we're going to do in slow motion is bring this leg to the floor, but we're going to set it up. Listen carefully. Inhale, get longer. Reach for the ceiling through the heel of your foot, lengthening through your spine. Exhale, try to press your low back into the floor, posterior tilt of the pelvis. Keep that pressing of the low back into the ground now as you slowly, ever so slowly, start to lengthen through that right leg and bring it down towards the floor. Try to keep the low back connected to the floor as best as you can. Bring it all the way down. And then once it's down, touching the ground, relax. Oh my gosh. Now that's not only leg strength, but that does take a lot of core strength. Take a breath. All right, we're going to do the other side. So bend the right knee, placing that foot on the floor. We'll extend the left leg. Or actually, we're going to bring the left knee into chest and extend the leg into the air. Flexed foot, heel reaching for the ceiling, slight bend in the knee. And extend the arms out to the side. Now, a more challenging way to do this is to take both legs in the air and to bring them both down at the same time. Soft flow, we're going to do it slightly different. Now, it does bring some activation and energy to the body doing this, even though we're doing soft flow. Breathe in. Here we go. Get long in the spine, extend it through the leg. Feel the low back press into the floor as you exhale. Hopefully you may feel some core engagement. I even feel my thigh, my leg engage. Now we're slowly, very slowly bringing that leg out and down towards the floor, straight as can be, while maintaining the connection to the earth with the low back. I'm really trying to focus on that part while this leg is coming down. It feels very heavy. Wow. Very strong until it touches the ground. And there we go, relaxing completely, extending both legs out front. You might even reach both arms behind you just for a nice ending stretch. Wonderful. Let's draw the knees in. We're going to finish with a twist. We did a seated twist. Let's finish with the lying down twist. All right, let's send both knees over to the left side of the room while your right arm extends out to the right side. Hold here, settle in, relax. Similar effect, similar benefit to the seated posture with the extended spine and twisted spine, getting into those obliques. This might create more of a stretching quality. The abs really aren't engaged here because we're lying down. So a nice stretch. 2 more breaths. And then we're going to carefully bring the knees back up to center. Pause here for realignment. And then we'll take the knees slowly down to the other side. As the knees go to the right, your left arm might extend out to the left. Not only do I feel this in the side of the body, it's called spinal twist, so we do feel this in the low back perhaps, in the rotation of the spine. I also feel this in my hip. It's certainly a positive effect on our core system as well. Just a nice light stretch. So just a quick review. So we went through some poses that activated the transverse abdominis muscles, that low and deep belt-like sensation, that abdominal floor, abdominal foundation. A little higher up, superficial, rectus abdominis muscles. And then putting on that vest, working that V shape of the abdominal system, the obliques. All right, let's come back up to center. And go ahead and extend the legs out front, arms down by your side, ready for Shavasana. So come to complete stillness and relaxation. Melt into the earth here. You're welcome to keep your eyes open and just gaze upward or close your eyes, taking your journey inside. A little moment of quiet meditation. Continue to feel your body fully connect to the earth, melt into the ground. Slow, steady breaths here. Keep the volume up on the breath because it's a nice way to stay focused here since we're very relaxed. Stay here as long as you'd like. This wonderful relaxing posture. Even as I end the practice and come up to seated, you're welcome to stay in this lying down position. But when you are ready to move, start with breath. Take 5 slow, steady breaths in and out. Continue to hear the breath. Now also feel the breath as it starts to bring energy and movement back into your entire body. And after your 5th breath, move in slow motion. You're going to come to seated, but first you might roll to one side of your body. Slowly press your way up to seated. Sitting up nice and tall. Re-extend the spine. Take a nice full breath in and out. And one last movement together. Inhale, extend your arms out and up. As you exhale, bring your palms together and down to your heart space. Taking one more breath here. Thank you for being here with me. And as we come to the close of our practice together, we bow saying Namaste.
Thank you so much for watching and participating in this yoga lesson. To help us with the channel so we can continue to bring you more content, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. It's really appreciated. Namaste.